All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else, and I am on the PTS. And the video I'm bringing you today, I wanted to show what I was talking about in the patch notes, because I realized I got a lot of questions about the shield sizes and why I'm harping against shields and everything. And I wrote a long written out thing on my community board, and then I realized like a lot of people are probably not going to read that because it is very long. And so I just figured I'd show a quick video. But my point when I was making that, guys, isn't that, it's not that I'm against shields. That's not what I was trying to say. Like I thought that shields were fine. In some ways they're nerfing shields. The big nerf to protective jewelry and pirate skeleton are going to make shields a lot harder to make super tanky. And so them being the same size that they are is fine, in a vacuum. However, the game doesn't work in a vacuum. In a vacuum means like by itself. Being tanky isn't just your shields. It isn't just your resistances. It's your shields, your resistances, and your healing. And they buffed the shit out of healing this patch. And so when you have wards that are staying the same, and you have wards that were already staying on your bar, but they're so good that you can take other stuff off your bar, you now have made Magicka classes stronger. So as an example, guys, last patch I was running this exact build, Necropotence, Alfiq, with one Garotdar and one Domi House, and I was running Dark Cloak on my front bar. So I had the heal over time with my Resto stat, my healing ward, and my harness, and I could survive against 3, 4, 5 people. And I could survive and I could 1vx with this type of build. They nerfed the Pirate Skeleton, which I already wasn't wearing, so it's not a big deal for this specific build. They did nerf my damage mitigation off of Merciless Resolve by 5%, which is actually pretty big, so I'd probably actually have to take off one of my max Magicka pieces and make it protective, just to offset that a little bit. So that was a small nerf. But the changes in the 5.1.2 patch notes, my shields last patch were 10.7. And this is all, I'm wearing all divines right now, guys, so my wards are a little bit higher because I'm wearing the Mage Mundus. So it is a little bit higher, but it's close enough to just basically say, like, my wards in 5.1.2 are actually bigger than they are in elsewhere. So I'm at 11, I'm almost at the cap right now at 12k. And with Bright Throats, with Alfiq, with a set like Spinners, with Necropotence, it's actually really high. It's actually really easy to get close to the cap for your character. And so you see I'm at 24.6, so the cap for Harness Magic is 50%. So a max shield for me is 12.3. I'm at 11.8, so I'm almost to the cap. And honestly, I could invest more points if I wanted to because I had room for it, but for another 500, I'd have to invest like 20 or 30 CP just to get closer. And so I'm close enough as it is, but my wards are now slightly bigger. However, that's not that big of a deal because overall, people with these wards are going to be a little bit more squishy this patch. But they also buffed healing. And so if we look at the biggest culprit right now, and why I was a little bit apprehensive about this, is currently healing ward is so powerful that I was surprised that it didn't get adjusted this patch. And so you see a 12k heal. If I drop my shadow image and I do it again, and keep in mind, guys, I am in PvP. This is what my heal is in PvP currently. It's 12k every second as long as healing ward is staying at its maximum value, which it will with max shields. 13.6 with this build. And so every second, guys, I will be getting a 12 to 13k heal. And so this is just like a Breath of Life spammer, spamming Breath of Life or Honor the Dead and block casting through it. You just put a ward on now, and then you drop your healing ward, and you're going to get these really fat burst heals. And the reason these are lower is because Spell Symmetry drops your healing by 50% for a couple seconds. But healing ward in its current state is busted. Like there's no way around it. It is currently busted. 11k, with no shadow image. It's 13k. If we run another popular build and we go back bar, Black Rose Resto, and we go front bar, Spinners, or Martial Knowledge, whatever. Martial Knowledge is also sexy. Wink, wink. You'll see, and obviously our magic is going to be a little bit higher. Like I said, I'm wearing the Mage Mundus. But our magic on our back bar is 57k. Our wards are 11. We're at 10.9 right now. And so we have the same health, and we dropped 900 on our ward. And so we'll be at around 10.7, probably with Impen, or 10.5, which is just as big of a ward as I'm wearing currently in the Elsewhere patch, is around 10.5. So our wards are the same, our damage mitigation is roughly the same, but now we have a ridiculous heal. And so I'm going to do it once again. You guys have already seen this from Nesquik's video if you went and watched it, but drop the shadow image. Now we're going to buff up, and 16.75 and 14.9. So every second we have a chance of gaining a 15k plus heal with Healing Ward. And so honestly, they need to reduce the duration, how often this ticks, or if they want it to tick every second, they need to nerf this Healing Ward heal by probably about 70%. If we look at Stam DKs, which are obviously the top tier percentage for healing, they can get up to about a 6k vigor tick, correct? So on average, you know, they're anywhere from 3 to 6k, so let's just say on average they're around like 4,500 vigor ticks in this next patch. 4,500 to 5k. So if we can get 16k with this, in order to drop it down low enough, we need to drop this heal by about 75%. Since DKs get major mending, the Black Rose Resto is 30% as well. So offsetting that, we need to drop this heal by about 75% to have similar heals to Mag DK. However, or Stam DK. However, Stam DKs are the only Stam class with access to major mending. If you nerf Healing Ward by 75%, that means every Magicka class will be on par with healing as well as a Stam DK, which is, you know, the highest healing Stam class in the game. And so, like I said, like this heal is currently ridiculous, and I'm surprised they didn't adjust it and tweak it this week. And so when I was reading the patch notes and I was seeing the change to ward, and I was seeing how this heal already is, I was a little annoyed by it because this is just making them stronger in a different way. And now, obviously, they're going to adjust it. I would be surprised if they didn't. But mutagen is the same way, guys. Like, mutagen also has a heal aspect to it that's very powerful. So their heals are good. But on top of that, you get this potential Breath of Life heal. And so I posted a screenshot of my Magplar last patch where I had 16,000 Breath of Life heals. If we drop below 20% health and we have mutagen on us, our tooltip for our mutagen is 16,200. And so, if we drop a shadow image, it should jump up to 17, I'm pretty sure. No, so with my other build, it's like 17.5. So, mutagen at low health has a better burst aspect to it than Honor the Dead. And so when we're looking at these new heals and we're comparing them to the strongest heals in the game, it looks like overall across the board, guys, that they're buffing heals across the board. So that makes sense. You know, so if they want mutagen to have this burst heal that's very similar to Honor the Dead, and when they need it the most at 20% health, I'm a little apprehensive about that responsive. Nobody's doing anything to react. You can be on the ground, you know, not CC breaking, and you get a burst heal. I don't know if I agree with that aspect of mutagen, but I agree with buffing the heal over time because they did the same thing for Vigor. And I think they're doing that because you're going to need these heals in the next patch because of how dot-based the next meta is going to be. So I understand that. But like I said, Healing Ward is in its own world. Even with these buffs, Healing Ward is in its own world with what healing it is providing. And so that was the point of the video, guys. And that was the point I was trying to say, is because anybody that knows how to sustain relatively well on a Magicka class, they're not going to die with Harness Magicka, like on a Sork with Harness Magicka, Harden Ward, and a Black Rose Resto with Healing Ward. They're just not going to die. You can streak, you can Dark Deal out, you can get all your resources back, and that class will just be able to infinitely sustain and tank through just about anything. And if they can't tank through anything, they will get out. And so that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully I made some sense. Hopefully I clarified my point. It's not the wards, it's the wards plus healing that's making for an interesting combination that's needs to be adjusted for the next PTS, in my opinion. So thank you for watching, guys. As always, I really welcome the feedback. I like the comments because I mess stuff up all the time, and it helps me provide better information like this video. So if I don't clarify something and people are confused, it allows me to go back and kind of explain my point a little bit. So even if you disagree, you at least understand my point. We're not arguing over something that I wasn't saying. So please feel free to provide any feedback you can. If there's anything you want to see on the PTS, I'm going to do the gear set reviews of the new monster and armor sets tomorrow. And then I'll go through the class changes probably Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, somewhere around then when I get time to do it. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.